Abstraction alignment is a methodology to measure the agreement between a machine learning model's behavior and known human abstractions. If the model's confusion is accounted for by the human abstractions, then it's abstraction aligned. But if the model is confused across many disjoint concepts, then it has likely learned a different abstraction and may not behave how we expect it to in practice. Let's use abstraction alignment to interpret a CFAR100 image classification model. Here, we use the CFAR100 class and superclass structure as the human abstraction graph that maps concepts like lamp, television, and clock into higher-level concepts like household electrical devices. Looking at each instance, we see the model's confidence breakdown across human concepts. For instance, in this image of a girl, the model's decision is split between woman and girl, but it is entirely confident that the image contains a person. Even though it wrongly predicts this image as a woman, we may be willing to overlook this mistake because its decision aligns with our human abstraction that women and girls are both people. Whereas in the image above, the model is confused across 9 classes within 7 high-level concepts. This lack of abstraction alignment is more concerning. What does the model think this image is, and what would it do on a similar image in the future? These 2 instances have very different abstraction alignment and result in different reactions. We trust the abstraction aligned mistake more and trust the correct but misaligned decision less. But how is the model making its decisions in general? We can query for types of model behaviors, such as cases where the model is fully confident in its prediction, when it's confused within a single high-level concept, or when it's confused across many high-level concepts. In almost half of all correct decisions, the model is fully confident, but only 15% of mistakes are abstraction aligned, where the model's confusion is contained within a high-level human concept. Instead, in almost half of its mistakes, the model is confused across more than 3 high-level concepts, suggesting most of its mistakes are abstraction misaligned. That begs the question, what are the human concepts that the model is regularly confusing? Looking at concept co-confusion can help us understand which distinct human concepts the model considers similar. It's concerning to see that the model confuses objects that share a location, like food containers and household devices, since they only share a context. Whereas it's more understandable for the model to confuse visually similar concepts, like small and medium mammals, especially in the CFAR100 context of 32 by 32 pixel images. However, we also see that the model confuses the concepts vehicles 1 and vehicles 2. It's surprising to see that the human abstraction graph contains 2 identical concepts. This suggests ways to improve our human abstraction, such as merging these concepts into one to better measure abstraction alignment. Finally, looking at abstraction match can tell us which abstractions the model has learned and which it has not. Here, we see the model's confusion is well accounted for by concepts like people and trees, but concepts like carnivores and reptiles do not account for the model's confusion. The model is not consistently abstraction aligned, but we may be more likely to trust that it can distinguish people and trees than reptiles. By expanding the number of concepts and levels of abstraction we can reason about, abstraction alignment has helped us better understand the model's reasoning process and build up a mental model of how it will behave in practice.